Okay, great day everyone once more. And in this video, uh, I'm going to demonstrate the script, the current state of the script that I developed. It's basically just I took the master branch script and I done additional checks and solved the bugs inside it to make installation much more smoother. Yeah. Uh, so this video should be really short. Let's go and spin up the Ubuntu container. Yeah, okay. Let's go to the deploy and let's start the installation of the current script that I have locally. Oh, look! Install executed from root. Doing classic Linux package manager mode. Oh yeah, I hit the bug. It's not as I described in the last video. This bug is binary bug. I cannot fix it in the script because it's in source files of Nix. It assumes that Nix build group is created. I created a bug report about that. Okay, let's start once more. Oh, Nix build has no members. Okay. The same thing. When this bug report going to resolve, the root installation going to be really smooth. Yeah, we see, yeah, notice doing classic install, environment variable user is not set. Maybe I run it inside container and detected username is root. The directory Nix already exists, skipping creation of Nix folder. And the first time we ran script, we had info creating Nix directory by running mkdir using root rights. Basically script so that we have root access, that we're running from root, and it doesn't ask us for sudo or su, it just created. If user, and I done it not just for root, basically if user has rights to create a folder, because user can want not to install in the Nix folder, this folder can be really any folder. It can want to this folder to be in his home directory. That is when the sudo is really not needed, because if user can create directory inside its home, why not create it without asking for sudo permission or su permission? Yeah. Yeah. So it created. This bugs is binary bugs that I hit, and a script also reports when in launching a different shell script, because that shell script I'm not worked on it, and it also needs all the scripts that work during installation need to have some form of verbosity and some constant form. Yeah. installing, and what we have here, yeah, the directory detected username root, directory exists, performing a single user installation of Nix, installation goes, installing SSL certificates bundle, pulling information from channel, a Nix package, notice installation finished. It's like really installation procedure, and post installation in the script invokes modifying the path, current path. It's a debated topic. Installations does not normally change user environment during installation. They ask user for that intervention, and this is my view, but here I done this script as much closely to the current state of the master as I could. And since post installation procedure is in the master version, I enable it here also. So, and we have installation finished to ensure that necessary environment variables, and everything is great. As you can see, the important messages light up green, errors light up red, and warnings light up yellow, but we not had warnings here. I tested the script in the different occasions from user also, and I done it so if user can create folder, it creates folder. If user cannot have no rights create folder, script asks for sudo, and it says like, I need to create this and this folder, please provide sudo access. And also it checks, does user have passwordless or password for sudo, because if user has passwordless setup, that means user doesn't want to bother with entering password, sudo password, and user when executes any binaries commits to that binary can just run sudo command and password without password do root operations. When you do passwordless, you sign in for that. Yeah, because not just Nix, any binary can do that, any script can do that. So that is why it's need not to be asked, because this installation is automatic, and script also informs user when super user access needed, and when it closes super user access. The thing is, when you give some binary the super user access, you really doesn't know how many commands and what operations was under super user. If application does not report, you just give super user access, application logs into root, and it may never log out. It may do everything that it wants. This is what basically happens during any package installation. You do sudo apt or other package manager, and when you do sudo apt runs from the root, and the installation of packages running from the root. So if package manager exploit the root access at that moment, it can be. There was like this epic story, you know, when the, I think, var directory was removed because maintainer by the error inserted in the path space after var, so it did not remove the folder inside var of the package. Maintainer did remove the var directory on all installations that used that version of the package. Yeah, it was like 10 years ago probably. So that's why script checks if access is password that it executes and reports that I went in and I went out, and if password needed, it explains that you need to enter password for this and for that. If sudo access not received, it can it checks that, yeah, if sudo command is present at all. If it's not present, then we need to use su, because su present on all systems, and we can have root access with su under any user. But if sudo exists, it asks for sudo access, and if sudo access fails, sudo access can fail because user is not in sudoers, so it user does not have root access. It can be that user doesn't provided the right password, so sudo access was not get. And the third option is user decided to abort the super user operation and run it Control C. And on these 3 occasions, the script goes into asking the su, and if wants, it can abort also Control C su asking, or it can provide a root password and directly access and directly log into root. Yeah, that's it. And I'm currently working on installation. Like we can see that script consists of different modules, parts, like setup environment, main constants, control constants, clear output functions. Done this prettified output of the important messages, because distinction between just plain messages, informative messages, and messages that user need to really read, it is important, because when we have a wall of text, it's hard to read the wall of text. Like if I do journal control, the wall of text is hard to read when it scrolls on your screen, but when it's colorified and the main messages divided from the all other ones, it's really great. As you can see, very convenient to read these messages. Yeah, and this is why clear output functions exist, and program stage functions is the main logic of the script. We see here the checking requirements function. That checks for installation requirements. It does just checks and doesn't do with system anything at all. So if checks does not pass, we need this process. If checks does not pass, nothing is happening. We doesn't create any folders or install Nix if checks is not passing, because Nix claims to be fully transactional. That means that if it cannot install fully, it must not install, and it must leave the system clean if it cannot be installed. That is why we need checks, and the checks also are, and the script overall is the best manual for the maintainers of different Linux distributions systems, because they can look at script and not read from documentation, because documentation can be not full or can be understood in different ways, or some parts can be skipped. In the script you have facts, and this is all facts, how Nix installation is moving ahead. So when we have a great installation script, we're going to have a really easy adoption on different Linux platforms by the maintainers, because it's easy to if you have problems creating a package, you can go and see the installation procedure, the default installation procedure. Install Nix. What I wanted to show you is that installation procedure has traps set up. It basically catch it errors. So like here we see, if we cannot subscribe to the channel, if we cannot subscribe to the channel, we do revert. Subscribe, drop, subscribe, revert. Here we can see bin Nix channel added adds channel, and if for some reason this command errors, then the subscribe channel revert function runs, and it reports that we received error signal from line from such and such line inside the script, and we are reverting channel subscriptions Nix package and removing the Nix package channel. It is the main idea, to make all the actions revertible as much as possible. Nix has a possibility to roll back, and in the end, what I want and probably we want to get is a fully transactional installation script. So under any some circumstances, it going to roll back to the initial state. So we have Nix installed or Nix not installed, and such problems as running 5 times the installation and establishing pre-assumptions of the script with workarounds is not going to happen if the development of the script is going to proceed further. What I wanted to show you is how much this is a list of pull requests and bug reports that I found regarding this script, and this is all is like bug reports, issues, and pull requests that are not closed. What I see here is that they have a trouble to be accepted. And that is, from my understanding, it's because people went there and they review changes, but they not accept it, or because they doesn't have pull request rights, rights to merge in the branch, or because they cannot take responsibility. They maybe doesn't know that area of the Nix. Yes. What I wanted to is to have an active human that going to accept and work on the Linux installation. It's good if it's someone. It can be me also. There is, I know about, there is the work of the Graham on the macOS script, and he has a great macOS script, and I want to submit my one for Linux, and then work towards polishing the Mac and Linux installations to look what we should do next. Yeah, I'm thinking maybe it's two different ways to try to merge two scripts in the one script. Like, it's basically partly done now. Master branch script changes from the Linux installation to the macOS installation. Here we can see it does exec of that script, and when script ends it does exit. So basically it's just a link to the other script here, a bridge to the other script, and all this part is not executed on macOS. So what is executed on macOS is these checks, and I see that this part can be moved to the macOS script, and the Linux and macOS scripts can evolve both independently at first, and like, that's why I want to commit it, and after I commit it I can work with other developers to standardize and unify the installation procedure. What I thought also about is that it, by the way, Nix many people think that macOS and Linux very very same systems. Also regarding the problem, macOS, the Linux systems uses diff or basic structures. So it's if merge together the script but two different code bases inside one script that is to her script are different. Linux and MacOS differences. We could, yes, the view of the script and the style of the script, but let's together MacOS, Linux, and the fish shell. Fish shell is not compatible. We cannot create a script that compatible with fish because fish is not compatible with shell. We can create different edition with fish, but at this point I do not see if Linux installation in such state. Why we talking about the fish script really? Let's at first do MacOS and Linux installation classically first in a great shape. Move it to the great shape, and then yeah, as we see in one-liner, moving back to as we see in this one-liner, we do detection of the systems. If we do detection of the systems in one-liner, why not execute different installation procedures for Darwin and for Linux? Then we can incorporate here BSD installation and Windows installation further. Because we now have shell on Windows, we can install on Windows. If it going to go such far ahead. So thank you for and by the way, have really simple pull requests that solve problems that are shown in the first video. Yeah, and so you can see and bug reports addressed on the pretty much the number of reports on Linux. I don't despite work and iteration happily in regard to the Linux these videos and sending it to you and ask to help me. I spent a couple of days writing this script. I basically spent my free week on talking with developers and talking with the team, and not any of my changes get accepted. I will really appreciate if we can work together, like in the process, and iterate and improve the installation.